Hey everybody, it's Rykard here again, back with another black and white Pokemon upgrade. Today, we're going to be discussing some really great boosts that Cloyster gets in this generation, so let's get started. So first off, Cloyster is a water-ice type Pokemon, which you should all know by now, and it was mainly seen as a entry hazard setup Pokemon slash defensive wall because of the fact that it can learn spikes, toxic spikes, and has a base 180 physical defense, which is absolutely ridiculous. But in this generation, Cloyster gets some really great boosts in terms of the moves that it uses. Now, as for its abilities, you can see that it had Shell Armor and Skilling previously and gets Dustproof in the Dreamworld. However, on Cloyster, Dustproof is kind of useless because of the fact that Skill Link is just such an amazing ability on Cloyster. Now, previously, it really hasn't had a way to abuse this because of the fact that Cloyster doesn't have the best attack stat or the best speed to really make use of the fact that you can hit with multi-attacking moves such as Rock Blast or Icicle Spear in Cloyster's case for a maximum of 5 times every time you use them. However, with the advent of this new move known as Shell Break, this ability has become incredibly exploitable and allows Cloyster to do a ridiculous amount of damage to anything and also make use of its 95 special or physical attack stat and base 70 speed, even though they aren't the best attack and speed in the world. But as you can see, this Pokemon does not have a lot of HP to really work with in terms of being defensive if you're not putting any EVs into it and going for a attacking set over that. And also, its ice typing does make you weak to priority fighting type moves, and makes you neutral to steel type moves as well. So as you're using this set, which I'm about to show you, just keep in mind that even though you do have some good defense, you do suffer from priority attack moves being super effective, mainly because of Mach Punch, but also because Bullet Punch is neutral against you. But that was just a stupid reminder that I felt like giving you guys. But with that, let's take a look at a set that Cloyster can make use of this generation that uses a bunch of moves that it can now get, and also some old ones that are a lot better this generation. So let's take a look at that right now. So first off with this set, we're going to give Cloyster an Adamant or Jolly nature depending on your preferences. Adamant is there to increase your physical attack but lower your special attack, and Jolly is there to increase your speed but lower your special attack. Personally, I would go with Jolly because I generally always take speed over power. As for the ability, we're going to be using Skill Link, even though it isn't a new ability that it gets, but because it's an old ability that, as I said before, is very exploitable this generation on Cloyster. As for the EVs, we're going to put 4 into HP to give you 1 more point into that, 252 into physical attack, and 252 into speed to give you either your max or your highest possible stat of those two stats, depending on the nature that you use. And as for the item, we're going to be making use of a white herb. And the reasoning for this is because it is going to be removing the defense and special defense drop that you get the first time you use Shell Break, which is the first move in the set. And if you don't know, Shell Break is a move that increases your physical attack, your special attack, and your speed by 2 stages, while also decreasing your physical defense and your special defense by 1 stage. And since, as I said before, Cloyster does not have a lot of HP, any defense drops that you could get with Cloyster are really bad for it because of the fact that you won't last that long in battle, and because of the fact that you already take increased damage from Stealth Rocks when switching in if they're on the field. So having a white herb is kind of essential in this set because it allows Cloyster to maintain its defenses, even though, aside from the massive physical defense, aren't that great. So it's kind of really useful to have as your item, even though you might be tempted to go for something that gives you more power, like a Life Orb. But since, again, you are weak to priority fighting type moves, you want to be watching out for your defense stat. That's all I have to say about that. But after you Shell Break, you're pretty much unbeatable, and I'm not kidding when I say that. But your first move in the set and your main stab move on the ice side at least is going to be known as Icicle Spear, which is a multi-hit move that will always hit 5 times because of Skill Link. And now previously, Icicle Spear's base power was only 10, but in this generation it was boosted to 25, meaning that this move has got in a lot more powerful and can get a lot more use on Cloyster because of skill link and stab and increased power. So that is one amazing thing about Icicle Spear this generation. Along with that, though, we're going to be using Rock Blast, which was pretty common on Cloyster previously, but it's still very useful because it's a rock move of 25 base power that hits 5 times with skill link and gives you some more type coverage. And lastly, we're going to be using Shell Blade, which is another new move that Cloyster gets this generation, and something that it has always really needed, because Cloyster did not have any powerful physical water type stab moves to use until Shell Blade came out this generation. So that is something that is really great on Cloyster and can give it some better type coverage and allow it to hit steel types, which it can't with Icicle Spear and Rock Blast. But if you're not aware of this yet or haven't seen any videos on this yet, go check out how powerful this thing can be after a shell break, because a multi-hit move coming off of a +2 attack stat, whatever nature you're using, it doesn't really matter, can pretty much rip through everything unless it resists it. And if it resists it, obviously you can go with Rock Blast, but in the case of something else that resists both of those, Shellblade is another option. But anything that doesn't resist Icicle Spear will pretty much be KO'd after you Shell Break, and that goes for the majority of the Pokemon that you're going to be encountering this generation, and I'm not even kidding about that. So this is probably something that makes Cloyster an amazing Pokemon for any team, and a very, very effective sweeper this generation. But that is it, guys, for this video. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the new amazing upgrade that Cloyster got this generation. So take care, guys, and goodbye.